Living in a universe where magic users are seen as the norm in society, while those who do not possess such abilities are considered scum, our magicless protagonist, Mash, has managed to live life on his own terms. After joining the Eastern Magic Academy, Mash uses his superhuman strength to cover up for his lack of magical prowess. His confidence, humility, and strength to defeat other known magicians have made him infamous all over the institution. Often, his defeated enemies befriend him due to his calm demeanor, and over the course of the school year, he has accumulated quite a number of supporters. However, having locked horns with a sinister Magia Lupus group, individuals who are known to harass and assault students, our protagonist and his friends are determined to end the threat from them once and for all. And defeating the second in command, Abyss, Mash is now hell-bent on triumphing over the ringleader, Abel. After Lance and Mash's victories against Worth and Abyss respectively, it is now Dot and Finn who faced up against the magicians from Magia Lupus. Back in the Magic Academy, a cloaked individual with strangely colored hair patrols the corridors. Following instructions from a piece of paper, he recites an incantation that opens a hidden door, revealing stairs leading down to the basement. Meanwhile, the four-fang Milo Genius walks away from the fight with a casual comment, giving Love Cute, the third fang, responsibility of dealing with the two students. Dot is taken aback at the boy's nonchalant attitude, but before he can say anything, he is immediately interrupted by Love, who enthusiastically introduces herself. Expecting their opponent to be harsh and grave, Dot and Finn are rendered speechless when she asks them if they like her. Even a ladies' man like Dot cannot come up with an answer, as Love continues to whine and ask them if they think she's cute. Having had enough of her pick-me-girl vibes, he finally tells her that he is in love with a girl named Lemon already. This is when hits the fan, as Love's girly demeanor immediately evaporates and her magical wand begins to glow. Pronouncing them both dead, she fires a tornado-like strike that Dot repels at the last moment. However, our lover boy is distracted by Love's affectionate words, and this gives her just enough time to attack him. Determined not to give up, he attempts to take her wand, but she is a two-line magician and her experience and strength far exceeds his. As he lays on the floor disarmed, she reveals that Milo had retreated to regain his power that he would use to turn Mash to stone. It would only take a limited amount of time, and once Love ended the two magicians, there will be no one in his way. She then proceeds to trap him in a giant tornado and moves to her next victim, Finn. As his strength begins to seep out and he loses consciousness, Dot can only visualize his sister, telling him that if he ever met a true friend, he should protect him no matter the cost. Thinking of all the times Mash had come to his rescue, the magician manages to break free of Love's spell and finally defeats her using his Ira Cruz cross that amplifies his abilities. Just as it seems that the fight is over, Milo Genius makes a grand entrance, injuring Dot with his stone statue. A boy prodigy, Milo is confident of finishing off the two single-lined magicians. The cloaked magician with the peculiar hair comes to their rescue. It's revealed that he is the divine visionary and his magical abilities further exhibit his high rank. With only a few simple spells, he has the prodigy flat on his face, begging for mercy. He does not kill Milo, but gives him the beating of a lifetime. The divine visionary's name is Rain, and he is Finn's brother. After sending the magicians onward on their mission, he continues patrolling the corridors, looking for Innocent Zero's henchmen. Here, he runs into Mash and begins to scan him for magic. Obviously, he's unable to find any, but our protagonist is easily able to counter all of the Divine Visionary's attacks. Initially shocked, Rain remembers the headmaster mentioning such a student and that he should be supported, which is why he then apologizes. Handing him a magical cloth that would heal his injuries, he wishes Mash luck on his battle with Abel. As always, Mash forgets to control his strength and accidentally breaks down the First Fang's door while trying to knock. His entrance now announced, our protagonist faces up against his most formidable foe yet. Abel, a much-feared puppet master, is Mash's next opponent. He appreciates the strength of our protagonist, saying that no common magician would have been able to counter Abyss's evil eye technique. Abel then proceeds to go on a whole triad of explaining his ideology about how society has always favored the strongest individuals, and his aim was to separate those who were inferior, so that they would no longer burden the worthier magicians. Those without magical abilities would be shunned to a corner, and a new world order appreciating the superiors would be created. Thinking about how his father had raised him with love and care, despite his lack of magical abilities, Mash refuses to accept such a world where selfishness and ego would reign supreme. Once he realizes that Mash will not change his mind, Abel uses his mannequins to attack our protagonist, against whom he is easily able to defend against. Mash then makes a wager with the puppet master, saying that if he's able to defeat him, Abel would release Lemon from whatever trance he has trapped her in. The antagonist accepts his conditions and releases another army of puppets. Albeit these are much stronger. However, it's like taking candy from a baby for Mash, as he smashes them without breaking a sweat. Abel now understands that he has been underestimating Mash all this time, and he finally begins to use much more extreme techniques. He brings out Mash's friend Finn, who he has turned into a puppet, and threatens to kill him if our protagonist lays even a finger on him. Mash has no choice but to keep taking blows from the puppet up until he comes up with a plan. Using the gold coin in his possession, he manages to throw it at such a fast velocity that it immediately cuts the strings that tie Finn to the puppet master, thus freeing him. Mash has had enough, and he finally manages an attack on his own, kneeing Abel right in his face. However, this is exactly what Abel wanted and uses his opportunity to turn Mash into his puppet. He thinks that he now has the upper hand, but Mash's never-ending love for cream puffs comes in clutch as he breaks out of the trance to grab the dessert that Abel tries to take out of his cloak. Talk about being a foodie! The puppet master finally uses the final trick up his sleeve by unleashing the marionette's second harm puppet. Our protagonist is not at all deterred, and within a matter of minutes has reduced the enormous marionette into a pile of wooden rubble. Abel finally accepts defeat and releases Lemon from the spell he has casted upon her. On cue, Finn awakens as well, and the three of them celebrate in a very immature manner. Despite his overwhelming strength, Mash really is quite humble. Meanwhile, back in the Easton Magic Academy, Rain manages to discover Innocent Zero's henchmen, who had been disguised as Lance this whole time. Innocent Zero is a dark organization that works in the shadows of society, causing mayhem and chaos wherever they go. Rain interrogates him on what brings him to the academy, but he does not reveal much, instead giving vague, playful answers. The most he lets on is that they had given Abel responsibility of finding a certain object, and now that he was unsuccessful, they were going to kill him, just as Rain is about to attack him. He manages to escape and instead sends one of his henchmen, Jean-Pierre, a skilled serial killer, to handle the Divine Visionary. Back at Mash's birthhouse, his father is seated with Brad Coleman, sharing a soothing cup of tea. His father shares his concerns about his son, saying that he hopes nobody found out about Mash's lack of magic, or further issues would be created. Brad is more concerned about his wager, which depends on Mash becoming the Divine Visionary. Meanwhile, returning to Easton Academy's basement, the group's wild celebrations are cut short by the arrival of the member of Innocent Zero. Mash has gone out for a bathroom break when the magician walks into the underground room and with a simple gesture sends his friends flying to the corner. Reptilian yellow eyes and two black lines running over his sockets indicate his high level of power. Walking towards Abel, the magician mocks him for not being able to become the strongest student in the academy, and even though the puppet master did provide the organization with valuable information about the principal, he is now merely a loose end. He then enchants Abel's hands to wrap themselves around his own neck and suffocates him. However, just as the situation begins to get gruesome, Mash walks in with a plate of cream puffs. Trust our protagonist to never read the room. The member of Innocent Zero begins to get a headache as soon as he sees Mash, which confuses him. However, he decides to finish off Abel first. He opens a portal through which he summons a pointed carbon rock, which is aimed for the puppet master. However, at the last moment, who should intervene but Abyss, the ever-loyal supporter? He sacrifices himself and takes the carbon right through his own abdomen. The injury seems to be serious, which is why Mash then hands over his enchanted handkerchief that Rain has gifted him. This attack on his friends angers Mash, and he now takes on the formidable member of Innocent Zero. Despite his strength, our protagonist is kept at bay by the magician, who summons a rain of carbon rocks which Mash has to keep beating away. The magician does not seem to be breaking a sweat while throwing attack after attack, which is worrying for Mash, as Abyss has only a limited time to which he needs to be taken to the infirmary. Noticing that his ex-opponent is in a difficult position, Abel remembers the words of his mother, who advised him to always help others. Abandoning all past grudges, the puppet master summons his great enchantment. Marioness secondeth Harm Puppet and joins team with our protagonist. Although the magician is able to break down the puppet, he is unable to anticipate Mash hiding in the puppet, who then undercuts him on the face. Such is the sheer force of the punch that it breaks through the carbon mask of the magician. As many others before him, the magician realizes that he has underestimated Mash, and he pulls out an enchanted mirror that reflects any form of magic that is thrown at it. Everyone in the room is in awe of the object, but obviously our protagonist does not care, and with a simple roundhouse kick, shatters the magical item. Everyone is rendered speechless, and even the magician is perplexed, particularly when he notices a symbol forming on his arm. Taking this as his sign to leave, he reveals his name as Selwar and escapes through a portal he has managed to conjure. The room is in silence as Mash's friends realize that he does not have any magical abilities, and all the heroic acts he had performed so far were all on his own. They decided to keep this information a secret, otherwise further problems would be created for our protagonist. Luckily, the handkerchief has managed to heal Abyss's serious wounds, and he would easily recover, just as it seems that everything would work out. A student that was controlled by Abel's puppet spell awakens and threatens to reveal Mash's secret. While everyone else starts to panic, our protagonist is busy munching on a cream puff. Typical Mash. Thanks for watching. If you like this recap, please consider to like and subscribe to the channel and ring the notification bell to be notified of any new recaps. And while you're at it, check out this new anime recap appearing on the screen.